When we lived in Sydney, the organic market in Frenchs Forest was our weekly dose of the good life. At first it was enough just to wander around with a cane basket and fill it with a bit of fruit and a loaf of bread. We went as much for the atmosphere as for the food. It was relaxed and colourful and had none of the Saturday morning angst that met us when we walked through the sliding doors of Woolworths. But over a few years, the market became a symbol of our growing dreams. The eggman would show us photos of his happy hens. The couple who sold bread would chat about how early they were up that morning, but reassure us of the pleasure brought by the smell of rising dough. The potato man always had dirt under his fingernails from digging up the spuds the evening before, and the mushroom man could never be persuaded to reveal the location of his gathering grounds. "What a good way to live," one of us would say, almost every time we got back in the car to drive home. Today we're heading for an organic market that's held every Thursday in the parking lot of a school in Bologna. As we drive from the hills into the city, I can't help thinking about what Shannon and I might take to market in the not too distant future. We get there around 5 in the afternoon, find our spot and start setting up the marquee. The black asphalt is unforgiving. There's no shade and no breeze, and the vegetables are sweating in the back of the car. By the time we've laid out the produce, we're exhausted. Then the first customers arrive, and Elisa becomes animated and welcoming, as if she's just arrived at a party and hasn't been working since 7 o'clock this morning. Everything we've picked over the past few days is arranged neatly across long tables. Zucchinis are the dominant theme. When I take a turn around the market, I realise zucchinis are the dominant theme at all the vegetable stalls, and I wonder how ours will sell. Small queues are beginning to form, so I take my place next to Elisa and prepare to be useful. It's harder than I thought it would be. My recent revision of Italian words for numbers and weights, vegetables and herbs, hasn't equipped me for the rapid-fire inquiry coming from a stylish middle-aged woman in a black suit. She's picked up a light green, young and slender zucchini with the flowers still attached. I remember picking it, and all its stablemates, just before Romano called us in for coffee this morning. But I have no idea what she's asking. Is it the price? I tell her, I think, and point to where it's written on the box, just in case. She shakes her head, picks up another zucchini, the larger sort Shannon collected, and tries to explain herself with more words. I wonder if she can see my heart pounding in my chest or smell the sweat that has just sprung from my armpits. Her words have dissembled into an alphabet soup, and all I can do is offer her an apologetic smile. It must come across as a grimace because she suddenly leans back as if she's only just realised I'm unhinged. Elisa comes over and explains my disability. While she gathers a selection of zucchini, the market goer engages me in a slower conversation, her broad smile encouraging me to try. But I understand very little, and the resulting pantomime is holding up the queue. I pass Elisa a paper bag for the zucchinis she's selected, and my role is set. I become the bag lady, and customers throw me compassionate smiles, but little conversation, for the best part of an hour. When the early rush dies down, I'm released to look around. I need something thirst-quenching, so I join the queue for the fruit stall. I use the waiting time to practice my request. "Due pesce, per favore?" 2 peaches, please. My mouth is watering with the thought of them, and when I reach the counter, I'm afraid my words will sound gargled. "Due pesce, per favore?" I say, perfectly. The response is a furrowed brow and a string of unfamiliar words, so I try a second time. Again I execute the line with perfection. This time the response is more widespread. Words from behind me, words from beside me, more words, and the hint of a grin from the young man who grows the fat peaches. Third time lucky, I think, and I raise my voice in case volume was the problem all along. "Due pesce, per favore?" Volume appears not to be the problem. Peachman is laughing. The queue is laughing. Someone in the middle of the queue leans forward to explain the joke. The fishmonger is next door. But I don't want fish, I want peaches, I say. Pesce. You want pesce, not pesce. I turn my flushed face to Peachman, but before I can correct my request, he's handing me a bag with 3 large peaches, for which he only accepts the price of 2. Then I hear more words from my translator. He says you sounded like an Italian, but when you asked for fish, so he just assumed you had the wrong stall. Something light and bright rises in my chest, and a small secret is revealed. I wish I was Italian. It's a childish thought and reminds me of wishing I was Olivia Newton-John when I was 10. It was never going to happen. My voice was weak and my hair was dark brown, and even before the chubbiness of adolescence set in, I couldn't have squeezed into the black vacuum-sealed outfit she wore in Greece. Being Italian is equally out of reach, I know, but for just a moment a real Italian thought I was a local. I will hang on to this like a magic bean, and maybe, if I water it with Italian lessons and fertilise it with regular visits to Italy, staying with our new friends, or, better still, in a beautiful old apartment in the centre of Lucca with nothing but window boxes to weed, maybe then I would actually become Italian. The heat must be making me light-headed and fanciful. I return to Elisa's stall and offer her a peach. She takes it, grateful. It's the only useful thing I've done since we arrived.